Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander Epic. It's custom 5v5 business this afternoon with an eclectic mix of Joes and Bros going down on a generated map. First of all, though, before we get started with this afternoon's entertainment, quick message coming in from promotional Bod Rowie. I don't actually know, is he still the promotional counsellor or has he handed it off? I thought he had handed off, but he's still sending me stuff routinely. Anyway, he would like to make everybody aware of the Beta 3v3 tourney, which is coming up. I think play's going to start on July 8th. Yeah. Why is it called Beta 3v3 tourney, guy? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's quite simple because it's being played on the FAF Beta mod. That is the mod which basically showcases the proposed upcoming changes to be implemented in a future patch. And 3v3, well, I think even you guys can work that out. It's 3v3. So if you want to get involved with that, do I need two teammates to sign up, Guile? I'm glad you asked that as well. No, you don't. It is done by draft, which could be a blessing or a curse depending on the sorts of people that you affiliate yourself with or chappies in your friends list. Either way, it will be balanced, I guess, to a certain degree. Probably based on rating, and there will be a prize pool, some $300, funded by FAF. Not too shabby. So if you think what it's got, you think what it's got. If you think you've got what it takes to do well, or indeed if you think people might be entertained by your farcical display and ineptitude, do please sign up and then send me the replay. Sign-ups end tomorrow, though. So today is the 30th. No, sorry. Today is the 29th. Tomorrow is the 30th. Friday the 30th of June. So if you're watching this in the future and you want to get involved, I'm sorry, you were too late. You should have got this when it dropped, for goodness sake. Why are you waiting to watch a Guile video? Seriously. And while you're down there, guys, smash the old like button and know what to do. So yeah, if you want to get signed up with this, link should be in the description below this video. And if I haven't done that, guys, you know what to do. Yell at me in the comments until I make it so. Alrighty, that's enough of that jazz. Let's get on with the game. As we said, custom 5v5 going down on a generated map. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching, ka-ching. Great big splodge of land right in the middle of the map there with some puddleage out the four corners. We'll talk more about the map in just a second. First of all, let's make our introductions. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top right, this Team 2 down here at the bottom left. Going first for Team 1 at the top of the screen in the middle, it's Carlitos going UEF, opening first land in electric blue. Down here to his bottom right in Spetsnaz green, we have Cybrin Commander, rather conveniently going Cybrin, opening first air. Team member number 3 to his right in Cyanide Cyan, it's Colonel Quabby. I want to say Quabbly. It feels like it needs an extra L at the end there before the Y. But if that's not his name, there's not much we could do about it. Colonel Quabby, there he is, going Cybrin, opening first land. Team member number 4 on the front line, it's Maximus Triple X, our first Aeon of the day, opening first land in Ferrari Red. And last but not least, for Team 1 over here in Baby Pink, we have Sassin going Seraphim, opening first land. So 2 Cybrin, a Seraphim, a UEF and an Aeon there for Team 1. All races represented. Kicking off things for Team 2 now. At the bottom of the screen, we have Cube MD, another Seraphim, this time in Haliborange Orange, opening first land. Above him, sorry, I say behind him, above him, to the top left, we have Gamer9 Triple X. There he is, going Cybrin in baby blue, opening first land. Team member number 3 to his left again, leaving his main base now. We have Bog6516. Berg. There he goes, off towards the middle to do some barging. He's going Pontiff White anyway, going UEF, opening first land. Team member number 4 at the top left for Team 2. It's Stuxnet, another UEF opening first land, going second land, and then maybe third land, fourth air. Not that it matters particularly. Last but not least for Team 2, C2118 Freedom. But we'll call him Freedom today for obvious reasons. Going Burgundy Red, another Seraphim opening first land, second air. Racial makeup of Team 2, therefore, is 2 Seraphim, a Cybrin, and 2 UEF. Game quality at 93%, but it looks pretty close. Obviously, these are rounded averages. It's not exactly 1280 apiece between them all, because these are rounded stats. But you know what? I sometimes wonder, when we have the ladder matches and it's at 100% balance, I mean, I've seen a lot of very close ranges, and it never gets really above 93 in these custom games. I wonder if there isn't a little bit of fiddling going on just to make everybody think, well, it must be perfectly balanced. Then if it's saying 100% in these ladder matches, there you go. That's my little entry into the conspiracy theory of faffness for this month. We're going to slow things up, actually, because we've got some major lab play underway out from Stuxnet. He's come straight up here at the left-hand side with a Mech Marine and a Snoop. He's also got very cheekily in the mix right through the center, and then there's another one moving up not far behind it, but only this time without a Mech Marine, rather a Striker accompanying the Snoop. But the reason I've slowed it up because I wanted to talk a little bit about the map. Big old splodge of land, not much in the way of elevation on the mainland. We have some cliffs here and there, but they're all very passable, not particularly affording much in the way of defensive bonuses. I suppose you could argue that this is a decent little defensive pinch point, a bottleneck defending against the edge of this corner pond over here. It could cause problems for Stuxnet, for instance, pushing up in that direction, or indeed over here for Maximus pushing in the other direction. But anyway, I digress. That is the reclaim situation. Absolutely nothing for a 5v5 as far as I'm concerned, kicking things off. We have a decent little pile of mass here and here, 670 and 470, couple of 110s in the middle, and then just a few bits dotted around here, a 305 and a 205 over here. But that's it. That's not a lot of mass, I think it's fair to say, on the reclaim side of things to kick things off. Tons and tons of mass points, though, as you would expect. Concentrated on the flanks, not much in the center. So expect to see these areas fought over ferociously. And then two rear corner ponds behind each of the bases. That's not really going to enter into the game much, except as a convenient or handy place to hide your comm. And then these strips of water over here, which could potentially be used offensively or defensively by either team. You can imagine if you're down here, for instance, on Team 2, you set up shop around the back in this little cove with a naval yard or two. If you manage to win water, you could get up here with a couple of ships, even a battleship or some kind of cruiser, missile cruiser, and cause real problems for Maximus, or indeed if the situation was reversed over here for Stuxnet. So there we have it. That's a decent amount of introductionage. What's happened over here? The Mech Marine shot past the engineer. We'll call him Bernard. Murder did very well to stay alive. Got the reclaim off and almost finished off that Snoop, which is going to get out of there with one hit point to its name. Bless him. Although he's not far away from Kalitos' comm. What happened to that other little merry band? This little Mech Marine, hobo if you will, getting into the backfield, finds another vulnerable engineer, but again doesn't manage to finish it off. Carlitos getting a little bit lucky here with his civilians. Does lose a Snoop, but a Striker is moving in now to finish that little threat off. What's happening in the center? Cybran Commander wasted no time in moving southwards from his base, looking to set up shop over there, and indeed Barg has also moved forward with his commander. Little forward radar station planned for near his comm. That's never a terrible idea. Always good to get good intel, especially around your comm if he's on the front line. You don't want to get caught out by hordes of inbound spam. Now, I know we said reclaim wasn't particularly important, but I am intrigued to see who's done better on the opening stages. It's marginally benefiting Team 1 here. They're up about 150 mass, but it's barely worth mentioning. Otherwise, it's neck and neck, as the totals are, as you would expect it to be at 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Stuxnet has pushed all the way up to this bottleneck. Carlitos getting the mechs over here. Now, who's going to succeed in locking this pinch point down? It is arguably closer to Carlitos' base, but not by much, I think it's fair to say. And it is a strategically important place. But I like what I see here. Stuxnet pushing up aggressively, not only with some spam, he also took the trouble to throw down a T1 point defense. And Carlitos is getting a bit of a battering here as we cross the 5-minute threshold, down to 7,600 hit points on the comm. He is going to withdraw. Sensible decision in my mind. And Stuxnet is going to kill off that recently constructed mechs. He says thank you very much. For the time being, he holds the bottleneck in the top left-hand corner. What's happening over here in the bottom right? Meanwhile, we've got a couple of comms nearby each other. Gamer for Team 2 and Maximus for Team 1. Maximus with a decent amount of T1 spam as well around in this area of the field. He's going to push south with that spam into the bottleneck, and there really isn't much on the field down here for Team 2. CubeMD does have his comm in the area, but he's not concerning himself at the moment with trying to secure that pinch point. Instead, he's going to sit back and continue to use that comm to increase the number of factories, increase his build power in this area of the map, and hopefully outnumber enemy forces on the field. But he's got a bit of a ways to go, and in fact we have 2 enemy comms as far as he's concerned loitering in the area now. Quabi's brought his Cybran commander to join the party, and for the time being Gamer is routed to the spot. 42% complete on a T2 upgrade, although he's getting a lot of build capacity assistance from these Mantis, so he should be able to finish that pretty soon, and that might allow him to start a point defense creep up in this direction, potentially cutting off Quabi and Maximus from their main base, although that would be rather lucky if he manages to successfully pull that off. They have all of this water to the right hand side they could just dip into and drop back, but certainly some defenses in the area would be welcome. It wouldn't be a bad idea actually just to get a couple of Cerberus turrets here, which he started with, and then move the comm down onto this natural formation and start throwing T2 PDs down on it. That would secure this entire region. That would be my maneuver. But then I am, of course, a natural coward. I do think defensively all of the time. Perhaps he's got more aggressive ideas forming. Freedom getting a gun upgrade on his comm. 36% done there. So he has brought his commander up to join Stuxnet. Bit of a 2v1 situation up here, and then a bit of a 2v1. Strike that. That's a 3v2, arguably. 3v2 scenario brewing. I feel like there should be a mismatch somewhere else on the field, but we've got one commander apiece, arguably in the middle. So should be a commander in someone's base, surely. I'm missing one. I misplaced a commander. Ladies and gentlemen, help me. Maybe not. No, all accounted for. It just seems that way. Gun upgrade about to complete for CubeMD, and not before time. He has hordes and hordes of Aurora bearing down on his position. He's got 3 land factories here. He has got a unit of T1 PD starting work on a T2 and another T1. Maximus advancing with his double upgraded gun comm from the north. Engaging these land factories. Now I think we're going to lose at least 1 or 2 of these. CubeMD has managed to whittle down a lot of these Aurora tanks. However, Maximus running out of forces here. Maybe he's not going to get any of these land factories. Perhaps I spoke too soon. The inclusion of a T2 PD vital in this defensive play here. Now we've got some forces coming in from the northwest as well from Gamer. He's not bringing his comm to the party. That's staying put. But he's got enough forces. Now that the enemy forces have been depleted, he can use those to go on the attack. What's been happening in the top left? Meanwhile, Carlitos again losing territory, being forced back away from the bottleneck. Freedom completed his gun upgrade and is now working on a T2 upgrade. They can capture this position over here as well and properly push Carlitos back. That would be a major win for Team 2. Reclaim almost neck and neck. Generated eco. Team 1 comfortably ahead by some 53 mass per tick there or thereabouts. That is a sizable advantage for 10 minutes into the game. Wonder where Team 2 are falling short. Hard to tell exactly. But they're definitely off the boil somewhere. Sassin doing remarkably well, up on the 90s. I think that's really what's making the difference. And I think it's worth saying as well, mentioning Sassin is the top rated player in this game. 1700 rated, ladies and gentlemen. There is another pro on Team 1 as well. It's Maximus at 1500. So these two on this right flank. This is a very dangerous position as far as Team 2 are concerned. Their two strongest players up front and pressuring CubeMD, who is now working on a nano repair, looking to give his comm all of the chunkiness he can. And working on a third T2 point defense. So this is turning into quite the little defensive outpost. And we actually have two comms withdrawing from Team 1, potentially as a result. Carlitos, who's now got the upgraded gun and the Tech 2 point defense, finally looking to reclaim the bottleneck and is going to throw down a Triad T2 PD, having taken out the opposing T1 point defense. That nano repair upgrade. Oh no, of course. So that's it. He's going upgrade after upgrade. I was thinking that was what he was working on before, but it's not, of course. He was working on the T2 engineering suite last time we checked in. And now he is 72% done on that third upgrade. So this is going to be a very nasty unit indeed. We're still very much in the early game. Stuxnet took an absolute pummeling in that last encounter. Look at that. Just 3,100 hit points left on that UEF comm. Carlitos wasting no time, pouring into the gap and setting up shop with some point defense. He's also going to have himself a tasty little mass field over there. You can see there's some 3,000 mass to be scoopersoned in that bottleneck. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. T1 bombers in now from CubeMD, just looking to harass some of these basic T1 mass pumps which have been spammed up by Maximus. A little bit of harassment in from Barg. And this is what Team 2 is going to have to do. They're going to have to try and alleviate the pressure on CubeMD as much as possible. Hope that Cybering Commando isn't going to get big lofty ideas and attack down the middle, because they are going to have to drift eastwards, which to Gamer's credit he is doing. He's sending a lot of forces over in this direction. CubeMD still trying to finish that nano repair. He's actually, I think he's control K'd those. Didn't see them get hit. These two obviously were very badly damaged. This one's currently getting upgraded to T2. If that is going to be his HQ, however. No, it's not. His HQ over here, which I applaud him for that decision. It'd be worth upgrading a badly damaged land factory to Tech 2. Now, Freedom going to have a pop at Carlitos' position. Remember, this is now a triple upgraded commander. He is facing off against 3 triads, and of course Carlitos comm, which has a Zeph Amp and T2 also. One of the triads is down. In comes an overcharge, nearly finishes off the new one being constructed. But Carlitos keeps that alive. Airdrop brings in 6 more units of build capacity, but that's very close to the front line, just as a new group of T1 units moving in from Stuxnet arrive to the south. Carlitos manages to keep those engineers safe. He's lost 2 more of those triads, but there's still 1 operational. Freedom ducks back into the water momentarily, gets the fire off his comm, reps up a little bit, and then re-emerges to continue to dish out punishment. Look at that, it's holding very stable at about 18,000 HP. Carlitos rebuilding his defenses, holding his ground. Very finely balanced battle here between these two commanders. Third triad completed once again. Carlitos not currently directing them to engage the comm, instead letting them finish off some of these T1 units belonging to Stuxnet. Freedom Starts drawing fire once again, and so he dips back into the water. 92 hit point a second regen with that nano repair. So he'll be up to full health before too long, but Carlitos still holding the field and again starting to repair his defenses. Now he probably wants to think about getting some shield coverage up and turn that bottleneck into a permanent defensive outpost. Some defenses were going up over here for Maximus and for Quabi. Barg says, no thank you, we don't like that. He's going to move in with a massive force of T1 spam, backed up, of course, by Gamer. However, they are running into some T2 units. So we do have some T2 in here as well, actually, for Barg. Some pillars in the mix. That is a very large group of T1 spam. It's all outdated tech. You can see the T2 pillars, tank platoons massing in the center. Oh, these blazers gonna hold. Maximus bringing in his double gun cob to try and win the day. Quabi continuing to retreat. You could do with your firepower on the front line, but look at this. CubeMD, he's got gun, he's got nano repair, pushing Assassin all the way up. Needs to be a little bit careful here. If they spot the comm, they know that one of these is a commander. They even see the comm. Not currently, but they will do when he emerges. They need to be a bit careful because it wouldn't take an awful lot to spit out a huge number of torpedo bombers and go for the snipe. What have we got over here? Freedom still harassing Carlitos, who has tried to make this fire base permanent, but is now taking fire from not only that Seraphim commander who's repped himself up, but also a Ravager turret, soon to be two of them, operational down here for Stuxnet, who's probably going to Ravager creep his way into the gap now. And now Carlitos really does have a conundrum. He might need to ask for some assistance here from Cybrin Commander, who, by the looks of things, is mainly attentive to the fight in the east at the current time. QMD still in hostile waters. He has got a lot of mobile flak with him, though. So any torpedo bombers are likely only to get one pass, maybe two. No, just the one. Actually, it was already damaged beforehand, so that might have been its second run. QMD comes back out onto the sand, though, to start harassing this base. Maximus leaps on the opportunity to engage with his comm. More torpedo bombers move in. This is... I don't like this. This is risky play. Torpedo bombers are very cheap to mass produce. Yes, he's got flak coverage here. But look, even with that nano repair, he's already down below 7,000 hit points. Now below 6,000. He's lucky that Quabi seems to have turned his attention elsewhere. Meanwhile, big old push now due south from Carlitos. Finds its way all the way to this little mass harvesting field to the south. However, they are outmatched by inbound Percivals and Titans from Stuxnet. So they only managed to bag themselves. Oh, that wasn't even a mech. There's no mass point there. That's P-Gens. Was that just a radar station? Maybe. So all of those mass points survive as it happens. Carlitos goes for T3 land. Or T3 engineering suite, I should say. help him try and counteract the inbound Ravager spam, which is still continuing now from Stuxnet. Ravager up and running in the breach here. That little Cerberus turret from Sassin of no use whatsoever. Look at this air presence we're starting to see now from Team 2. Freedom handling air for Team 2 has some 30 air superiority fighters on the field. Sassin, some 23, so a mild advantage there for Team 2. We have also got a strat bomber lurking though. Oh, we've got a few. 3 strats for Sassin. So the potential to wreak havoc is there if he can assert himself in the air game. I'm happy about this. CubeMD withdrawing his comm to safety. Pursued by some sniper bots, but they're not going to be able to hit him underwater. And we do have a naval yard set up at the backfield for CubeMD. Bunch of subs moving up to check the coast. There's currently no other naval assets on the map. So the first bit of play we've seen in the water game emerging from Team 2. Freedom still using his comm on the front line. Where's Kalitas setting up shop? Well, he's erecting a fire base, and he's going to go from there, use that as a staging point. Ravager online, T2 shield gen up and running. Ravager out of range of the other Ravagers, but will certainly make a royal mess of some of these units that stray into that zone of control. Barg going for a dip in the holiday destination for Team 2. This little Riviera running across the back of their bases. Nice strike on forward intelligence post, taking out that radar station. Was that actually? That was a TAC missile launcher, I think. He's got 32 kills to his name. What an absolute hero. That's a 5-star TAC missile launcher who's obviously been up and running for some time. He's been busy. And I think you can see the fallout of it. We've got a lot of tactical missile defense lining the base of Maximus, so he's potentially been suffering. We also have dead mexes on the front line. I imagine formerly belonging to Quabi or perhaps Cybran Commander. So they've perhaps been taken out by this jobby. There's actually an emissary that's been started, but I don't know if that was started by mistake. Getting a little bit overzealous there, considering we're yet to see our first mobile experimental enter the game. We're already thinking about T3 artillery. Here come the Bernies. Coming for you higher tax bracket suckers. Look at that. Don't you talk about my posture. It's perfectly healthy. I want to doze off in a deck chair with the mask on. That's absolutely fine. Making some nice progress here, though. Gamer reaching the front lines now of the main base belonging to Maximus. However, look at this array of Harbingers. We've also got decent little Oblivion batteries. Ooh. T1 bombers harassing the main base of Maximus. He's just trying to get his T3 reactor situation sorted out. He says nope. Massive push on the ground up through the center from Stuxnet, and he's receiving a lot of T1 bomber love from Sassin. And he comments in local chat, sweet Jesus, Sassin. That's not cool. They are only T1 bombers, unless he got his strats involved. No, his strats are sitting back here. Oh, some of them have been very busy. This one's got 26 kills. So they have been getting some work done. Looks like they might have been brought to bear on that pile. Stuxnet forced to withdraw. Still has a decent number of Percivals to his name. Nothing too catastrophic. So the pressure at the choke point seems to have dropped off. I'm surprised we're not seeing anything in the way of torpedo bomber spam being brought to bear against Freedom. I mean, can they even... I mean, they know he's been there. They haven't got any way to see him now. They need to get a sonar station, but I guess they think, no, it's really not important right now. If only they knew that he was sitting just off the coast. Combination, massive wave of torpedo bombers to push him out of the water, followed by a strat bomb attack. That would be the end of Freedom. Harbs, after that little defensive play, now being sent out on an attack sortie against Cube MD. Where is his comm? His comm's all the way down here. No commitment to the naval side of things. That's actually received some damage, that naval factory. It's all just been T1 subs since he's realised that there's no interest from Team 1 in building any navy. Really, it's limited use for Team 1. I guess you could harass this position, but this isn't the main base. This is just a forward outpost. You're not going to be able to get in and cause any damage there. The only reason why you'd have a naval presence on this side of the map if you're Team 1 is to defend or counter Navy going in the opposite direction. How do things look in the eco side of things? Well, it's 1.1k apiece, although Team 2 are sort of teetering on 1.2k. Overall, though, wow! Team 1 massively up in total eco, total mass accrued, by some 80k or so. That's pretty sizable. Are they currently doing anything with that advantage, though? That is the big question. Monkey Lord, 80% complete. Something... ooh, and absorbing attack missile fire, I would imagine, from this little chap who's still going and now has 55 kills to his name. Bravo, that's one of the more successful attack missile launches I've seen in my time. Carlitos up at the top left. Continuing to solidify his forward outpost. He's got a little attack missile battery going on also. And I like this. Suicide mortar Zuis being brought to bear in the backfield, just snaking their way up the riverside there. Nice little gunship squadron attack. Massive attack here in the center from Bar, but oh no! Oh, it must be a droppage. He is, but it's best if he leaves and you stay. So what's been going on here? I'll pause this for a second. Whelp. Cube's still here, so it looks like Whelp was dropping. He needs to leave. Maybe it wasn't dropping. If this is not full share, I might need help with defending the south. By the looks of things, it is full share. Is it full share or is it partial share? Well, I should have focused more on what his units were doing at the time. He had that gunship squadron in the center. Well, that took my eyes off the nice little attack underway from Team 2 in the center, but it wasn't going to go anywhere anyway, because we've got two defending Monkey Lords, one from Sassin and another from Cybran Commander, just holding the center of the field like a linchpin. So there was no route there through for Stuxnet and Barg, but still I appreciate the aggression. We have some Volthus, formerly I would imagine belonging to Cube, so maybe it was on full share after all and not partial. I was having a chat on my Discord the other day with some people, with some of my patrons, and many of us are of the opinion that partial share is a nice compromise to the share no share situation. You get the buildings but not necessarily the units. Those two Monkey Lords that we've just seen used defensively in the center of the map, now drifting over towards the west. Are they going to go full on rampage now, I wonder? Stuxnet's comm is up front and placing down a lot of Novak centers in rather an aggressive place, but I guess that is his main base. But I mean, if I was putting down experimental facilities, I think I would shift some build capacity further to the south, see if I couldn't pin them up against the edge here or something. Just give them a little more breathing room. But there's a lot of build capacity here, and they've wasted no time spamming up some Ravagers. In come the Titans. There are Percivals waiting for them, however. Lovely Cougars opening up, defending the airspace. Strap Bombers being deployed from Freedom against Sassin's Monkey Lord, which has taken a battering. That only has about 5,800 hit points left. The Monkey Lord, though, from Cybran Commander faring a lot better. Almost at full health, but now we've got another Monkey Lord, this time out from Team 2 and from Gamer9, bearing down on Maximus's base. Maximus, though, has just completed a Colossus, so we are firmly in the experimental phase, and now we have some naval play from Team 1, and it is a defensive naval play, arguably speaking, and he's wasted no time upgrading that to T2 as well. Naval yard for Team 2 in the bottom right hand corner has been destroyed. Monkey Lord belonging to Gamer9 just sitting off the coast. So Gamer9 spat out two Monkey Lords pretty darn quick. The lead Monkey Lord went straight for the main base of Maximus. He ran into a Colossus, however, which was terrible for his health. That's like spending 8 hours a day in a sedentary position while smoking 20 Marlboro at a time. Generally very poor for your health going up against a GC. Is that stuck? Ah, that's a real shame if that's found an awkward patch of quicksand. I would explain why it's doing very little, but then of course I suppose you are going to run into these little problems here and there on a generated map. There's not a huge amount you can do it, but it doesn't look like there's anything to be stuck on. But I think that really I think that really is done. There's much it can do. He's there for his torps. Naval defense on that passage in a completely uneconomical manner. Stuxnet looking like he's going to push up towards the gap once again with renewed intent. Carlitos almost has a Fat Boy complete. Well, I say almost. He's about 55% of the way there. Gamer9 just pumping these out, and he's actually pulling in more mass than anybody else right now, so that is why. Of course, he has inherited all of the old infrastructure of Cube MDs, effectively sitting on 2 base, so he's going to be pumping out those experimentals. Another megalith completed at the back of his base. He really needs to direct everything over here and try and shut down Maximus. Cube MD was one of their mid-rated players. Novak satellite belonging to Stuxnet, making a royal nuisance of itself, being directed against Carlitos' unshielded mass options. Oh, perfectly timed shield coverage, though, erected there. Saves that mass point with about 660 hit points left to its name. That is a lot of air superiority fighters belonging to Assassin. 295 fighters on the field for Team 1's air player. Team 2, conversely, a rather more conservative 178 with a small number bingo on fuel. Stop harassing my Monkey Lord. He cannot move. He's just being reclaimed. What a massive insult. Does have torpedo capability, the Monkey Lord, but as you can see, it's not great. Well, can he get his revenge in another manner? 2 crabs now bearing down on Maximus's main base. Maximus scrambles a GC, but it was a badly damaged GC. And as soon as that huge plasma bolt connects to his face, the thing goes down. Fire redirected against an inbound Monkey Lord belonging to Cybering Commander. Will that even get to fire its laser? Nope. Range and damage of these 2 megaliths getting the job done, although Assassin turns up with 2 more spider bots and another GC out from Maximus. And a bit of a sloppy bit of micro there. Will they even kill one of these 2 Monkey Lords before the first megalith goes down? No, they won't, and he doesn't want to be turning that around. You're not going to escape the Monkey Lords and the GCs, and certainly not the massive wave of T1 bombers. Big bulbous backside of the megalith starts absorbing laser fire. Where's the damaged Monkey Lord? Well, it was kept back sensibly. Fresher Monkey Lord sent in to take the damage, and that is 2 megaliths down. Ouch. That is painful. Now suddenly, front line looking a little bit dodgy for Gamer. He has spat out another megalith, though. He is pumping these out. Look at that. Where are these strap bombers going? They're on the move. Escort detail leading in. Their cover potentially being the aggression against these T1 bombers. Where is the defensive air force for Assassin? Well, it's all the way at the top of the map in the north. Meanwhile, the strap bombers have got a bead on Maximus's comm, who's routed to the spot. He cancels the upgrade. He's only got a basic T2 shield, and that was nowhere near adequate protection. Even a T3 or a couple of T3 probably wouldn't have saved him there. Silver lining, Freedom's air force is probably going to get obliterated. Certainly all the bombers went down. And finally, the game is leveled. But this time it's a legitimate kill as opposed to a poor chappie who just had to go. It is now a 4v4. Group of Percys for Barg in the center. Lapping away at those Harbs, which are no match for them, of course. Where are we now on the aerial side of things? 347 for Sassin. Freedom 112. Well, that is some disparity. Could Sassin have saved his teammate there? Maybe, if he'd been more on the ball. Or even if his planes were stationed further south. But then, of course, if the planes had been loitering over here, Freedom may not have made the move. A nice snipe, nonetheless. Look at this firebase that's going up just south of the bottleneck. Carlitos does not like that in the slightest. Has amassed a massive force of Titans, Percivals, Riptides, you name it, and is now taking that position apart. There's been some fascinating battles through the breach here. Carlitos doing a solid job of holding that, sometimes 2v1. Ooh. Static T3 artillery bearing down on Sassin now. Sassin's main air production facilities, certainly at the rear, are predominantly unshielded. Carlitos back up now that a fat boy has entered the chat. Ooh, what's going on here? Some strat bombers. Oh, is this the retaliation? Massive aerial engagement over the top of Freedom's base. They release their payloads. This is all about trying to get rid of that artillery piece, and they've got it, along with 2 of the 4 T3P gens supporting it. Ouch, that has got to hurt. But it did get some payoff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T3 air factories and a couple of ion reactors. Carlitos has cleared this threat down here, but he can't move in and grab the mass field. There's too much long-range fire. What's the pity, because that's another tidy amount of mass for him to scoop if he can get there. Look at that, 57,000 mass. Gamer is rapidly becoming a problem over at the east for Team 1. He just won't stop sending in megalith after megalith. And there's not much in the way of defense against this. We have a couple of Monkey Lords, but 2 Monkey Lords versus 2 megaliths isn't a great set of odds. You can see another megalith up here belonging to Cybering Commander just drifting east. A lot of to and froing going on, but massive aerial advantage right now for Team 1. Sassin really needs to make that pay. Get more strat bombers out. He has a fair number of them harassing these megaliths down here. Megaliths which are picking different targets. They should focus down one of these. You're kidding me. That really should have got... Even with the strat bomber harassment, that should have gone better. Oh my god! And either that damaged Monkey Lord is going to survive. All he had to do was focus fire rather than split them. Can someone else get a little work done, says Sassin. He feels like he's carrying... Well, I mean, Carlitos, to his credit, has been getting some work done up at the top left-hand corner, but not making huge advances, I suppose. But right now, it feels like there's more momentum everywhere except the air game for Team 2. Team 1 definitely have a major advantage in the air right now. Quabi producing some strat bombers, maybe looking for an entry against someone. Have we got any strats up here? Yes, we do. So Quabi and Sassin with strats ready to make a play. Give strats to one player, says Maximus. Not a terrible idea. Quabby transfers them over. Definitely queuing up here for something. A nuke aimed at the front line of Stuxnet, whose comm probably in the blast radius. He's right on the edge of it. I can't
Strategic launch detected.
see adequate. Oh, maybe there is. Further back. No, that is going to connect. Is Stuxnet out of the way? No, he's not. He didn't even move his comm. I mean, yeah, I die, of course. I mean, you didn't have to. Can't really do anything about that. I mean, you could have moved your comm. Nuke out from Team 2. Lands flush in the middle of what was Maximus's old base. Did I read that right? I'm literally incapable of making an SMD. So I don't know whether that was some kind of bug he's claiming he had there. Can't really do anything about that. I mean, you could have moved the comm. Well, nonetheless, Team 2 go down a man. Once again, having just brought it back to level pegging on the player front, it is now a 4v3. That is a lot of Perseus, though. Barg not doing much on the experimental front. But goodness me if he isn't a machine for pumping out Perseus right now. 74 Percivals, and they're all heading up towards Sassin. Sitting in the remnant of Maximus's old base. We also have inbound experimentals and Ethota, another megalith belonging to Gamer. Attack missile launch out from Carlitos, going after these fat boys. This one's shield is down. Oh, lovely little snag there. Economical kill, always good to see. Ethota turns the right, wants to go off some of this vulnerable build capacity, which is supporting the naval yard, which is upgraded to T3 and actually has pumped out 3 battleships, which is an interesting play. Like we say, the range on the battleship. Well, if I select the right person, that would help. Well done, Guile. That's all we're looking at there. Now, if you extrapolate that down there, yeah, you're probably going to reach about this area here, but you're not going to get into the main bases. So the only thing these are good for are protecting this little strait of water and firing on incoming units or incoming experimentals that get too close to that water's edge. It's quite a serious investment for not that much gain, I would humbly suggest. But of course, 1700 rated player knows better than me. And of course, there is the other angle, I suppose. These are Seraphim battleships, and so are nuke capable. And look, he is potentially about to complete a nuke. Maybe is that a full thing? Or is he even building them? Maybe not. I don't think these guys are even building nukes right now. So maybe that was the idea. Get down here, start pumping out these battleship-based nukes. Megaliths just sort of loitering in the center of the map here, being picked apart by strat bombers. Barg on the warpath with his Percivals once again, going straight for the very heavily fortified, heavily defended central point, the linchpin of Team 1, Cybran Commanders' central defenses. His comm is way out of things in the backfield. Wow, look at this. Is that all just from that Novax, or have we got artillery again? Not seeing any artillery traversing the field. Nuke launcher up and running at the back for Barg. So that might have all been taken out by this one Novak satellite. Now that is really bad news for Sassin and Team 1, because Sassin's aerial forces have been the one thing holding Team 1 together, and now they've lost most of those production facilities. Two fat boys versus two fat boys, but Carlitos' fat boys still have some shield coverage. I spoke too soon, one of them's depleted. Oh, but down goes one for Freedom. The other one, 50% damaged. Let's have another look at Air Force size. 248 fighters now for Sassin. Freedom with 141. Another nuke out from Team 2. It's Barg this time in the backfield. Going straight after the main base of Quabi. Also do a fair amount of damage to Sassin's infrastructure if that manages to connect. Do we have SMD coverage? Yes, no. No, we don't. That nuke will land. How have we got no SMDs? There's one in the back here, but it was only recently constructed. That is dreadful. No excuse for it. Not for better coverage at 48 minutes into a game like this. Massive push on the ground from Barg going up towards Carlitos' position. Counter nuke inbound going after Gamer. That does get shot out of the sky. So Team 2 have got some decent coverage. Who knows, maybe they did have coverage over here, but the Novak satellite targeted it and took it out. Barg's Percivals are just going to run into a brick wall, not of bricks, but of fellow Percys. Huge aerial battle ensues over the top of that. Sassin continues to head south. There's a lot of landed strat bombers here which are vulnerable, and they're going to stick around to finish those off. He's got to be careful. He's lost a lot of his air production facilities, but that is a tempting target. He doesn't finish them all off. He takes out a bunch. But now Team 2 have lost most of their fighters, but crucially, look, they have the ability to replenish them. Sassin does not. Very meager production capabilities now. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to spit out an aircraft carrier or two from down here. Battleship in the bottom right hand corner has been spotted by Gamer, who just brings up one of the megaliths. Look at that, they haven't even got visibility down here, so the battleship can't shoot back. I mean, he can see it. Why isn't he shooting back? Unless that's like a glitch on our side that's still showing us that, but he can't see it. Why isn't that battleship returning fire? Answers in the comment section below, guys. And once again, while you're down there, give us a like. For goodness sake, give us a like already. SMD coverage further to the west, so that must have just been outside its protective radius. Well planned. And now we do have more static T3 artillery raining down on Team 1's base positions. Who is the culprit? It's been rebuilt. Hovatham. It's Freedom once again, but there's more than one. Counter Novak satellites from Carlitos, causing problems in the backfield though for Gamer. But all of the ground-based aggression so far has been from Team 2 for about the last half an hour, really. All of the pressure has been pushing in this direction. Air power has been great for Team 1, but they have lost that now. Cybrins are starting to go all Allah Akbar. 42% done on Colonel Quabi's laser upgrade. He's going to go and get himself his virgins. And a Mavor under construction for Carlitos. I mean, if that completes, fantastic. But there's a lot of inbound fire. And I'm skeptical that that is going to get anywhere near completion. Support commander going pop. What's this? Strap bombers underway. Are they looking for a kill now on Gamer 9? They're heading in that direction. Air power has been their big plus. Payloads away. There's a lot of shielding around this comm. Doesn't break through or get even near it. Shields hold strong. And yet again, the number of ASFs for Team 1 is whittled down. Air facilities slowly being replenished, but that's going to take a long old time, and they're going to manage it with all of the inbound artillery fire, I wonder. Carlitos trying to break out in the top left. There's a lot of defenses over here. This is all close range, long range defenses, of course. These clink hammers. The Fat Boy. We do have Ravagers down here. Going to break through. Combination of some T2 pillars and Percival's. Strap bombers heading north. I think they're going to bypass the inbound Percival's and just go straight after the Fat Boy.
Strategic launch detected.
It will survive one pass, but there's a whole nother wave coming. Another nuke out from Barg. That's going up to the right-hand side of Sassin's base. Quabi, 15% done on his teleporter. We're also going teleporter for Cybrin Commander. Look at that.
Detected.
Microwave laser done. Cybrins are all getting very antsy in their pantsy. That nuke is going to land. And Sassin's base is really in tatters now. Okay, he says. Yeah, not much you can do about that. Nuke going the other direction, and that is shot down. Just because I carried the first 90% of the game doesn't mean you need to nuke and T3RT me over and over. I mean, you're supposed to carry, Sassin. You're the 1700. They're not meant to go for you. Who are they meant to go for? That is a lot of whalers, a lot of air-to-ground damage. Is that going to go after Gamer? That might have more success than the last strap bomber run. We do have decent amounts of SAMs, but how are we on flak? In comes the aerial response now from Freedom. Kidding me? They're not focusing on the comm, they're going after the disruptor. I suppose infrastructure is what's important. Down goes the shield, but we're running out of whalers very, very fast indeed. And the disruptor will survive. Unreal. Oh! Comm's gone. Where's the comm gone? There he is, right out front. He's like, I am not accepting that. He throws his life on the line to take care of two of the disruptors. Cybrin Commander bows out. Down he goes. 55 minutes and 40 seconds. Nuke inbound. That's going straight for Carlitos' base, but anti-nuke loaded and ready. Another attack underway from Barg, who's been an absolute monster with these Percy armies. He's also got a couple of fat boys to back him up this time. This looks very bad for Sassin's position now that he's inherited all of this infrastructure formerly belonging to Cybran Commander. Players, it is equal. In Eco, it is not. Team 2 pulling in double the Eco Team 1 is right now. They've got the artillery. They've got the units. They've got just about everything they need. And now a huge wave of strat bombers inbound towards Carlitos, avoiding the front door, coming in through the side terrace. That was just too easy. Carlitos goes down. It is now Sassin and Quabi. Where is Sassin? Sassin is down here at the bottom right-hand corner, heading further south. Holy Lord, that's a lot of strats. I didn't see he had those. And I think it's fair to call it. Sassin goes down either to ground fire or a control K. I still need to update the scoreboard so we can get the accurate calls. Leaving Quabi all by his lonesome on an upgrade. Is he going to teleport? He has the teleporter and the laser ready to go. What else have you got to lose, my friend? Vulnerable potential targets are freedom, although that's all of the T2 point defense in the world. And Gamer, who has a ton of Cerberus turrets around his comm, also. Barg safely underwater in the backfield.
Strategic
Couple of
launch
monkey fields.
detected.
Monkey lords made them their way around the bottom right hand corner. Decent number of strats amassing over here also. Another nuke out from Barg. Percy's died a death from Barg, but the fat boys getting work done. Nuke breaks through to the remnants of Carlitos' base. That's going to connect. Bosh! Just wanted to use all of his new offensive gifts, I suspect. Make your mind up, Guile, for goodness sake. Getting my own version of SOPCOM head underway. And there we go. Quabi teleported. I wasn't sure what he was going for down there. It was neither of the comms. One comm there, one comm there. But yeah, it all started to fall apart, didn't it? Just bit by bit. Sassin was the only person who was really getting anything done in the air game. Carlitos was valiantly holding up there at the top, but all of the ground pressure really came from Team 2. Maximus was never able to push out much. It was just once Cube went down and suddenly Gamer had 2 bases to work with, he just started pumping out experimental after experimental, which really locked down the front line over here. Carlitos was engaged in a back and forth against Stuxnet. This was basically a stalemate. But, yeah, once the air facilities and whatnot were taken out over here, I think it was just one Novax that basically got that done. We weren't looking at it, but we saw a Novax hovering overhead. They didn't have artillery at the time. They'd had one piece of artillery which had got taken out prior, but he still had the majority of his facilities up. But, yeah, I'm guessing he just exploited the lack of shield coverage, took out a few reactors, and before you know it, that good old-fashioned chain reaction changed things up. And if you'd like to change things up, if you've seen everything there is to see here, or indeed you'd just like to support me, the best way to do that is by signing up to the Patreon, guys. It's a mere $1 a month. We're up to 87 premium content casts on that specific channel. It is all there, ready for your viewing pleasure. You also get access to the Discord as well, and all casts are ad-free as well. So check it out. Come join the most exciting premium community in FAF. I think it might be the only one. But don't let that put you off. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. More to come from me in the future, as always. But until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.